Hi everyone and welcome to today's video. If you are new, hello, my name is Sarah and I post new beauty videos every single week. Today we are going to be talking about a new concealer straight from the drugstore from e.l.f. This is their 16-hour Camo Concealer. Now this concealer retails for $5 US. It comes in 18 different shades. I grabbed two, as you can see here. This one is medium sand and this one is tan sand. I wasn't really sure which one to go with, so I just grabbed them both and we'll see what we get. Now I'm going to swatch them on the back of my hand in order to get a better idea of which one to use. Medium sand looks way too light, as you can see it here. And there is tan sand right there. Now, if that doesn't deepen here in a few minutes once it dries down, then this is going to be a better match for me. But if it does, then I'll see what I do. I'll see what I can do. Depending on how these turn out, that'll determine how I'm going to test these out today. Now these concealers come with a large doe foot applicator. I personally like these because you don't have to keep going back for more product. This grabs plenty of product and usually you can just, swipe it once and you're done. Now this concealer is described as being a full coverage, long wearing concealer. You are able to wear this for up to 16 hours, which is a really long day. It is a crease-resistant, creamy formula that can also be used in order to highlight or to contour with. I'm only going to be concealing with this. As far as how to apply it, you're supposed to just use the wand in order to apply it to the desired area, and then you can either blend it out using your fingers or a beauty sponge. I am going to be using my usual 3D HD blender. We'll see how it blends out with that. So that pretty much covers all the basic information regarding the concealer. Now I'm simply going to jump off camera in order to apply foundation onto the face, and I'm also going to be color correcting the right under eye area. Per usual, I am going to be testing the concealer out with and without a color corrector underneath, just to see how it wears with and without, whether or not I get better coverage with a corrector than without a corrector, stuff like that. So I'm going to jump off camera, take care of that, and then I will be right back. Okay, so now I'm back, ready for concealer. These swatches have now dried down completely, and I think I'm going to mix them. Good thing I bought two. Also, they're not moving. So they dry down extremely matte, which leads me to believe that I'm not going to need to set this concealer at all. Like, they're not even coming off on my finger. They're completely dried down. At the current moment, I have moisturizer and I also have the color corrector underneath the right side. On the left side, I've simply just moisturized underneath. So moisturizer, color corrector, and moisturizer, that's all I have going on. So we'll see how it wears on each side. So like I said, I'm going to mix the two in order to get a better shade match. Okay, so look how it goes on. It goes on like it would match me perfectly, but then it dries down to that. And that's just way too deep for me. Way too orange too. Okay, so I'm going to start off with tan sand, right? Yes, tan sand, which is like the orange one. A little bit on that side. And then a little bit on this side. And then I'm going to add a little bit of medium sand, so that it's not so orange once I blend it out. And now I'm going to blend it out using my damp 3D HD blender. This is going to look really bright underneath my eyes to begin with, but once it dries down, it'll tone down a lot. Okay, and now the non-color corrected side. Just the moisturized side. Blend it out there. Okay, so not bad. However, I am definitely getting better coverage on this right side. I'm going to build it up just a little bit here on the left, just a tiny bit here along the outer parts of my dark circles, just because I feel like you can still definitely see them peeking through here underneath. Whereas over here, not so much. So I'm going to try to just build it up a little bit, and it'll also test it out to see whether or not it can get built up, like how it blends out. once you build it up. So I'm gonna just apply a tiny bit of the tan sand and then a tiny bit of the medium sand. Okay, so second layer went down and I can still see them. It's okay. It's not too bad, but it's definitely not providing me personally with full coverage. It's not doing that because I can still see my dark circles kind of all throughout. So overall, as of right now, I definitely prefer this side. I just like the coverage on the right side a lot more than I do the left side. Like I said, I'm not going to be setting this under eye area because one, I don't think it needs it, and two, I don't want to unnecessarily set it and then have the under eyes appear extremely dry. So now I'm going to zoom you all in so that you can get a better look at the under eye area after initial application. All right, so this is what the under eye area currently looks like. I like the way that the concealer is sitting underneath my eyes. Hopefully it wears like this all day, we'll see. Okay, so now that you've seen the under eye area, I'm going to jump off camera once more in order to finish off the rest of my makeup, and I will be right back. Okay, so now I am back with the rest of my makeup finished, and I like it. So far, it's not settling into any of my fine lines. So you definitely don't have to set this concealer, and we'll see how it wears throughout the remainder of the day. It is currently 10:12 in the morning. I do plan on wearing this the entire day, and I am going to be coming back halfway through the day in order to show you all some close-ups and also to talk to you all a little bit about how the concealer has been wearing up to that point. So I will see you all back here in a few hours for my midday check-in. Okay, so now I'm back for my midday check-in. It is currently 3:27. So I've had this concealer on now for a little over 5 hours, and I must say it is still wearing really well. I can't even speak. It's wearing really well. It doesn't appear to be settling into any of my fine lines. It's not breaking up. I feel like I'm still getting the same amount of coverage that I did at the beginning of the day, so nothing underneath the eye area has faded. And yeah, looks pretty good. So now I'm going to zoom you all in so that you can get a better look at the under eye area after 5 hours of wear. All right, so this is what it looks like up close. I still like the way that it looks underneath the eyes. It doesn't look too heavy, it doesn't look too dry or overly done. And yeah, I like the coverage. All right, so there you have it. That is the current situation underneath the eyes. I do plan on wearing this for about another 4 hours or so, just to give it a long day and see what we're left with at the end of the day. So I will see you all back here in a few more hours for my final thoughts on this new e.l.f. concealer. Okay, so now I'm back for my final check-in. It is currently 8:16, so I've had this concealer on now for a good solid 10 hours? 10 hours. I've had this concealer on for a long time now. Now, before I get into my overall opinion of this new concealer, I'm going to zoom you all in one last time so that you can get a better look at the under eye area after 10 hours of wear. All right, so this is what the under eye area currently looks like. I'd say not bad for 10 hours. Definitely not bad. I do feel like, or I did see that this left side, if I look up, did break up in between my fine lines just a little bit. Other than that, no issues. I didn't see that happening over on this color corrected side. Overall, not the most coverage. I feel like perhaps I lost a tiny bit of coverage over here, maybe. I can't really remember from the beginning of the day, but I think I may have lost a little bit of coverage here. We didn't start off with the most full coverage on this left side. So yeah, I think I lost a tiny bit of coverage on both sides, but overall, I'd say not bad. So there you have it. That is what the concealer currently looks like. It also does look just a tiny bit dry, so I am glad that I did not set it at the beginning of the day because by now it would look really dry. So I'm glad I didn't set it. It does look a tiny bit dry, but nothing that bothers me. So overall, I'd say it's a pretty good concealer. It's an okay concealer from the drugstore. It absolutely has its pros, but it also has its cons. I would say some of the cons are you don't get full coverage with just the concealer alone. As you all saw at the beginning of the day, I did 2 layers of the concealer over on this side, and it wasn't enough. 2 layers wasn't enough. I didn't want to add a third because I figured that would just be way too much product underneath the eye area. So if you are trying to conceal dark circles completely with this concealer, I would absolutely recommend that you use a color corrector underneath it. Another con would be that it oxidizes. It changes colors drastically. So what you see in the bottle here, like through the plastic packaging, is not what you get at all, not even close. So make sure that you do your research if you do have your eyes set on this, because it's going to surprise you how much it's going to darken up or how much it deepens once it dries down. The pros are the price point. Definitely, it's a $5 concealer. It comes in 18 different shades, which is pretty good for a drugstore concealer, but they do change color, so keep that in mind. It does wear nicely. It did provide me with pretty good coverage here on the color corrected side. And for a 10-hour day, I would say it's not bad. Not bad at all. It definitely outperformed some of the high-end concealers that I've reviewed here on my channel. Yeah, so definitely has its pros, but it also has some cons to consider. So those are my thoughts on this new e.l.f. concealer. Thank you all so much for watching. I truly hope that you enjoyed today's video review and that you found it helpful. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss out on future product reviews, makeup tutorials, anything beauty related. And also don't forget to follow me on all of my other social media platforms where I absolutely love to interact with you all, especially on Instagram. I am the most active on Instagram. So if you haven't followed me there yet, make sure that you do. As always, take care, and I will see you all in my next video. Mwah! Bye.